I need to talk to you. All of you. I don't care if no one watches this video. I don't care how many people watch this video. I just need to say this. This is dumb. I can't do this anymore. So, if any of you actually watch my videos, and have consistently watched my videos, first off, I thank you. Second off, you know I mainly played this game. Dead by Daylight. I loved this game. I loved playing Killer. I loved all of that. I didn't really like playing Survivor. That was just me. But I just can't anymore. If you've been following my channel at all, I completely stopped uploading anything like that for around a month or something. I'd have to check. I don't remember because I can't anymore with this game. It's just so dumb. First off, first thing I want to talk about, which is just, it hurts to think about. So, they just released new Battle Pass. And I just... Okay. I understand that you didn't want to charge for community-made items. I understand that. The problem I have is that instead of charging for it, you made your community grind a ridiculous amount to get these items. And I just don't get it anymore. What's the point of putting out a community contest, having everyone say, hey, we want this? Having everyone who plays the game, whether it be casually or whether it be all the time, saying and voting, we want this skin. And then instead of, at least you didn't charge for it like some other companies. I will say that. But it's still stupid that, one, this is now time limited. A community-made item is time limited. Let that sink in. That means once this is gone, the only way you'll be able to see this is by people who have it. And that sucks. That's stupid. Warframe, I still think, has one of the best systems possible for community-made items. Sure, they may somewhat charge for them. Yeah, that's a thing. You can pay money to get them in the game. But you can also pay money to get this in the game. What's the difference? The difference is, in Warframe, the grind is actually reasonable. In this, you have just enough time, 69 days, there's 69 things in the Battle Pass, to get everything. You would have to be doing one challenge a day to get this, to get all the things in this Battle Pass. Or you would have to play this game a ridiculous amount. And that's just unrealistic. It's just mind-boggling to me that they didn't want people to be angry. Not even that people are angry. People ignore a lot of the bad things that some of the quote-unquote good developers do. And this is just dumb. Obviously, it's not as bad as paying, as like charging for it, like with other games, but it's still just no. Just put it out in the shop for like 2,000 iridescent shards or something like that. Not 9,000 like a character costs, just 2,000. Not like the amount a normal outfit costs. Make it so you can only do that and not pay real in-game currency like Edric shards or Edric cells. However you pronounce it, I don't know, I don't care anymore. So that the community, so if you want it to be somewhat limited, there you go. It's now somewhat limited. And without it being like, and just put it time limited in the shop. If you really want it to be that limited, just put it time limited in the shop as like a thank you to the community for helping us through all the hard times with this game, all that stuff. No. You say, screw you, Alexa, stop. You say, screw you, and we're going to put it in the Battle Pass. Even if you didn't charge for it, that's still dumb. you shouldn't be putting community-made items in the battle pass. That's just my opinion, but it's just dumb. Okay, that's the first thing. Might have rambled on a bit about that, but this game has just been annoying me to no end. I want to love this game. I just can't. Second thing, rank reset and matchmaking. Okay. Rank resetting and ranks in general are not a bad idea. Games like Rainbow Six Siege do it amazing. They do it just perfect. Where it resets you back to the beginning every time, no matter what, and you have to grind your way all the way back up to get to platinum or diamond or whatever the highest rank is that you want to go for, that you can make. And it's supposed to be competitive. The thing that makes Rainbow Six Siege still fun is they can manage to separate the competitive scene from the casual scene. Dead by Daylight doesn't do that. They put everyone into a ranked mode right off the bat. If you suck, you're staying in the bad ranks. If you do good, you're going to the higher ranks. Either way, it's torture. Because either you go higher ranks, you get longer matchmaking times, worse survivors, who are just way better at the game, and not to mention the balancing's way off, which I'll get to later, and all that type of stuff. If you're bad, you then have to deal with sucky survivors, dealing with unfun games just because you either have to let the people go, or we're killing the game because no one wants to play at low ranks. Everyone wants to play at like middle ranks, which is what you're balancing this game for, by the way. Like, you're balancing this game for rank 10. And you just, Dead by Daylight, you can't make up your mind. Behavior, you cannot make up your mind. You don't know if you want this to be a casual game or a ranked game. People have shouted this at you multiple times, and you don't listen. Do you want this game to be casual, or do you want this game to be like hardcore competitive? You can't have it both ways. If you want this to be casual, get rid of the ranking system, and get rid of like any of the matchmaking systems like that put you up against high skill players. Maybe just like, if they're a newer player, put it in playtime categories or something, if you really want it to be like balanced or something like that. But as it stands, this doesn't work. You balance this as if it's a casual game, and then have your competitive players all hate you as a company, or hate the game. Both of which are unhealthy for this game. And it just boggles the mind you keep balancing this that way. Sure, matchmaking was a good step. The problem is, you didn't give it enough time. You didn't balance it enough, and neither did the community. The community didn't give it enough time. When I played with matchmaking, it was the best matches I've had in years. And I have been playing this game for like a year or two at this point. Not like on and off, not always playing this game, but I've been playing this game for around a year or two. And it just hurts to see such potential just thrown away. When I'm playing in higher ranks, I hate it. When I'm playing in lower ranks, I hate it. Lower rank games are boring. So are red rank games, because both of them feel unfun because it's completely balanced towards one side. In low rank games, it's almost impossible for survivors to win if they go up against any form of a good killer. In red ranks, it's almost impossible for the killer to win if they go up against good survivors. If not impossible, because of how this game's balanced. Not to mention, there are still things like Survive with Friends in the game that still have no debuffs, no penalties whatsoever for effectively giving them the way to communicate with themselves and understand each other's playstyles flawlessly. How the heck are you supposed to kill 4 survivors if they all know exactly what you're doing because one of them can see you? Don't balance perks like Object of Obsession, Decisive Strike, anything like that. Those perks are incredibly oppressive and have remained in the game basically the same ever since you either reworked them 1 or put them in the game 2. So, you need to just fix the rank system. Either make this as a competitive game or make it a casual. You can't have it both ways. Third thing, balance. Balance in this game is some of the worst balance I've ever seen in any game I've ever played. Playing Killer at Red Ranks is extremely fun just because of how unbalanced this game is. Playing against Red Ranks, they've got flashlights, they've got pallets, they've got infinite loops in some maps that you still haven't gotten rid of, by the way, or God loops, which you still haven't gotten rid of, even though you're working on it. Not to mention you've now put doors in that instead of, making it so if an experienced killer sees a door and breaks it, they can then make it the loop more favorable to them. You've put in doors where loops that were semi-favorable to the killer used to be. So now, whenever any survivor goes through that way, you now have to break the door or have the door previously broken in order for that same loop to be as powerful as it once was for Killer. You're actively trying to nerf Killer. I don't know what to say about that. Not to mention your extreme reluctance to rework killers like Clown, or like Demogorgon, or like Deathslinger, who are all super weak, and you have not touched in the slightest to make them anywhere near better than, anywhere near the point where they need to be to actually be viable in Red Ranks. Clown is still useless in Red Ranks. Guess what? Barely changing anything may have improved his stats, but that's because more people wanted to try him out. More people felt like, oh, this is better, so now I can actually play him. And if more good people who are good at Killer start playing a Killer, then the stats are going to improve no matter what. Your stats are flawed. Unless you're taking it from the exact same people every single time, the stats are going to be off. Especially right after you change something for that killer. And then there's killers like Legion who desperately needed some form of a rework or something. Maybe they're strong, but they're just in such a bad place. What you put them in. I get it. Back in the day, they were extremely unfun to go against. Because they would just tunnel you if you were playing people like... if you were the Obsession, they would tunnel you into the ground, and they would be using perks like Dying Light. Which was just extremely unfun to go against for everyone involved. And I get that. I'm not saying make Legion back to that. I'm saying give Legion an actually fun playstyle. Instead of, I injured everyone, now I'm gonna go walk around as a normal Mouse 1 killer until they heal themselves, and then I'm gonna do my Mouse 2 again. What's the point? And then the 3 killers I mentioned earlier. Clown, who's still useless, as I just mentioned, with you barely changing him, so whenever you hit him with the gas, you can now actually catch up to him. Yeah, that's right, you couldn't catch up to them with the gas beforehand. Demogorgon, who you nerfed into the ground from his friggin' what was it? Public test build because you were too afraid of him. Thanatophobia, which that's a perk for Killer that you refuse to let be any form of good on anyone besides Plague or Legion, which you then nerfed again by making it so it now no longer affects healing speed. You're nerfing killers like Pyramid Head, who are good. You've nerfed Nurse, you've nerfed Spirit, you've nerfed all the killers you people are saying are good. And I think the reason why is you're listening to your community, but you're listening to the community wrong. And I know that might sound harsh, but here's what I mean. You're trying to balance a game that's inevitably going to have more people liking one side than the other, because they can play with their friends on one side, and they can't play with their friends on the other. So, you have to do your best to listen to both sides, and from the way I've seen it, you're more so listening to the Survivor sides. And I think the reason you keep doing that is because more people want to play Survivor. And obviously more people want to play Survivor because they can play Survivor with their friends. People are going to gravitate towards Survivor because you can play that with friends. The problem is, if you don't make it so the killers can have fun too, you're going to kill your game. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Eventually, you're gonna nerf the game. You're gonna nerf the killers to a point in the game where they can no longer be usable. You can no longer play killer to have fun, unless you're a masochist. In which case, you're already probably having fun in this game when playing killer because you're gonna hate yourself already anyway. But if you keep nerfing killers the way you are, all of the killers are either gonna be weak or unfun. Which means no one's going to want to play killer, everyone's going to want to play survivor, and there's going to be no killers to go against for those survivors. Meaning, you just killed your online game. When one side does not want to play, you cannot have an online asymmetrical game like this. I've seen other games just like this die from doing something similar. There was that one hunt game, like Hunting Gardens or whatever it was, where it was basically like 4 pretty weak guys versus 1 really strong guy. The one really strong guy has to protect you from like getting these points from certain things. You can fight each other, but it's not the most effective thing if you want to win. You want to capture all the other things and try to escape. Great concept. Sounds very similar to Dead by Daylight. Seemed very fun. Guess what? They screwed it. By making it so the 4 people were way more powerful, so that the 1 person had to play extremely unfun. And that's what most of the killers who are still left in this game are doing. They're playing extremely unfun. They're camping with Noed because they have to. Not because they want to, but because they have to. And that's bad for both sides. Survivors are continuously yelling nerf Spirit or nerf Noed or nerf anything like that because that's the most common thing they see. People who still want to play this game normally either play Spirit or they play Nurse. Not as much Nurse because you still have to slug with Nurse. But for the most part, they play with Spirit. And then I still don't know how some people look and say, oh yeah, keys are weaker than Moris. I don't get it. Keys are stronger than Moris because 1, they give you wall hacks. 2, you can find them randomly in the map. 3, they open the frickin' locks to allow your entire team to escape through hatch as soon as you get all 5 generators done. Meaning, the killer cannot defend both the hatch, the exit gate, and the other exit gate all at the same time. It's physically impossible. It's 1 person. I don't want to play this game because of teams like that. I don't want to play this game because it doesn't matter if I'm going up against teams like that. I would have to bring a Mori to beat teams like that. Whether that either be a green Mori or a red Mori. It's just so dumb. Not to mention gen speed's still too fast, and you're actively attempting to nerf perks that help with gen speed. Pop, which you nerf from 60 seconds to 45 seconds. Some people may say that's not a big nerf. You can't even get across the map within 45 seconds half the time. Especially places like Mother's Dwelling. And maybe if you would actually bother to, reduce the size of maps more than about 10 square meters, it would be easier to pressure these gens. Why do you think people keep saying maps like Saloon or Hawkins are killer-sided? It's because they can actually pressure the friggin' gens. Okay. Oh. Just one last thing. Let me think for a second. Just one last thing. Actually, I don't know if there is. It's just... I want to like this game. I really do. But you're making it impossible for me to like this game. It seems like this game is actively going against my enjoyment as killer. It wants to make the game as easy as possible for survivors while making every killer hate their lives and you end up using Noed, Spirit, Mori's, Huntress with iridescent head, any of those things. And I can't deal with it anymore. I don't want to continue having no fun trying to play this game. I'm done. I don't want to grind this game, hating myself the entire time while going for friggin' either Shrine of Secrets or new character skins. Or the friggin' Battle Pass, which, by the way, monetization in this game. Not as bad as things like, what was it? For Honor? For Honor's got some bad monetization, kind of. But I don't want to dedicate my entire life to grinding out this game, which I have no fun in, just to get something I kind of wanted that was made by the community. I don't want to play this game. The only time I want to play this game anymore is if I want to play it with my friends. And that's because at least I can have fun with my friends. Anyway, if I do start posting videos again, I'm not going to be playing Dead by Daylight. I stopped playing Dead by Daylight for the entire time, basically. I was playing that, and the only reason you saw, like, maybe I got like 11 hooks is because I played one game before I recorded this to see if it was the same as it was last time. And it's exactly the same. Still extremely unfun. Still heavily survivor-sided. Still all the things that were bad at the beginning. And they refuse to make it better. Unless you're a survivor, then they love making it better for you. Thank you if anyone actually watched this. If you didn't, oh well, I don't care.